Christopher Ali Thorén skriver i tidningen Dagen om hur muslimska elever påverkas när skolans sekulära normer möter islamofobi. Tomas Samuel, kristen teolog och expert på islam, är kritisk till artikeln. Welcome back to Riks, Tomas Samuel.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be with you again.
Can you tell us what you are criticizing in this article?
Actually, I have many things that I would like to talk about in this article. When I read the article in the beginning, it was a bit, I got concerned, if you understand. I felt uncomfortable because I felt that we need to understand that it's not every scientific or scientist statement is a scientific statement. Again, not every scientist statement is a scientific statement. What does that mean? It means that our brother here, Christopher, he is a doctor in science, but it doesn't mean that everything he says is is a scientific a statement. This is his opinion when it came to, or his analysis when it came to what has happened with the kids he interviewed. And the first thing that popped up to my mind, that the article was so generic. I mean, what he talks about, I do not really understand if he talks about Islam in the East or Islam in the West, if he talks about Sunni Islam or Shi'i Islam, if he talks about the children of Salafi Muslim or normal Muslim. Muslims of Pakistan is very different from Muslims in the Middle East. So what Islam he speaks about, which one he speaks about, these kids that he met, what he talks about, this was totally unspecific. Regardless that he accused most of us of being racist, or he said that most of the people who entered to this conversation really don't know what they talk about. And I don't think this is accurate. Many of the people who speak also on the topic knows what they talk about, and they lived it. They didn't only hear about it from some kids. So this is the first thing we need to clarify with this problem. And if he will say that we need to share everything, or at least some of the things, with the kids, so I have a problem. I would ask him about self-flagellation, flagellation, for example, that kids, if you understand what I mean, kids almost do, not kids only, kids and adults, in self-flagellation, which is beating themselves in Shia Islam, for example, on what we call it in Arabic, tatbir. They hit their head until it bleeds, and they do that, for example, in Shia Islam. Would you like us to share that culture? Would you like us to share this religious ritual? I think he will say no, or most of the people, logical people, will say no, we don't mean that. What we mean is the normal rituals, or the normal place, or normal practices we need to give a space for. Again, my question will be based on what? Based on the European democracy, democratic understanding and values, or based on what? If you understand what I mean. So this is really, really dangerous topic here. And I don't know if we will dedicate a class for everyone, how it will look like. I mean, if he feels that we need to share, give a space for Muslim kids. Which Muslim kids? I mean, the Sunni don't pray in the Shi'i mosques, or the opposite at least. The Shi'i doesn't like Sunni to pray in their mosques. And the Shi'i had their own way of praying in some incidents. And we have Buddhists who would like to have meditation rooms. We would have Orthodox Christians who may like to have some ritual place as well. So which class? I mean, we will have a lot of classes, and I don't think we will have a classroom for education. So that will be really strange. So, yeah.
Yes, in the article, he argues that Muslim students are not demanding special legislation, but the same rights as other children. How do you view that claim?
This is a very dangerous claim also. First of all, he claims that Muslims do not get the same rights as Christians. And actually, Christians are mocked for their faith today. So if he's seeking the same rights, then I don't know what exactly he means by that. If he means a place to pray, I think there are two things here. The first thing is we have Christians who doesn't need a place to pray. I mean, we just pray, I mean, anywhere, anyway, without rituals. We don't need to do rituals. And if he means by that the Christian schools, I would have a big problem, because the Christian values is what this society was built on. So it is matching the society. But if he talks about the Islamic values, let me tell you some of the Islamic values that Muslims used to teach to their kids, at least my family and some other families used to teach to their kids about how to live their life with others. For example, in Surah number 3, chapter 3, verse 28, it says, "The believers may not take the unbelievers for their allies in preference to those who believe. Whoever does this has nothing to do with Allah unless he does so in order to protect himself from their wrongdoing. Allah warns you to beware of him, for it is Allah that you will return." It is to Allah that you will return. So this is the first surah. It says, the first part, it says, the believers may not take the unbelievers for their allies. So this is the Islamic value, that you should not be friends. Allies means to associate or connect by some mutual relationship or as a resemblance, friendship, love, or being close to non-unbelievers like people who don't believe in share the same faith with you. And someone would say, yeah, but Christian and Jews are the people of the book in the Islam, so they are different. Let me tell you what chapter 5, verse 51 say. It says, "Believers, do not take the Jews and the Christians for your allies. They are the allies of each other. And among you, he who takes them for allies shall be regarded as one of them. Allah does not guide the wrongdoers." So this is simply the verses that Islam teach for their kids, that they should not have allies, they should not have real friendship with others who are non-Muslims, and especially Jews and Christians, and who does that, he is part of them. He will become part with them. So I don't know which value he talks about, which values, and he may do two things now. He may say, no, I don't speak about that, which is the Quran. So if you don't speak about the Quran, I don't know what you speak about. Or you may say, no, I speak about other things like having their privacy. I do not think that school is made for these things, that a place to where you should have your privacy in religion stuff. At least privacy means that you have to practice that at home. If you talk about the Swedish idea from a very liberal perspective, if you would like that. So I don't know which value you speak about, the Christian Jewish value or the very liberal value, because both do not agree with what he says, if you understand what I mean.
And he also points out that Christians and Jewish students may also feel marginalized, but that the Muslim students are affected particularly hard. Do you agree with that?
Actually, I don't know what he knows about growing up a Muslim kid, but at least I can speak about from my own experience here. And from my own knowledge. My own experience is not only how I grew up, but also how I grew up my kids. And the children are the most who are looking down for people who are not Muslims. I mean, at least in my experience, I have seen kids who look to their, for example, Christian or non-Muslim friends who eats, for example, pig. and they would look at them and say, "Oh, you eat pig, it's dirty." Okay, this is how it is. This is what you talk about. I know he will argue and say, yeah, but for example, Jews may have kosher as well. Yeah, but they are not, they should not be bullying down the non-Jews for not eating kosher. But the Muslim kids are doing so. I'm not generalizing. Don't make me feel in this slippery slope. I'm not generalizing, saying each single Muslim kid are like that. But again, based on what you will build your idea. I'm building it on the text that they say in the Quran. I'm building it on the text on my own experience. I'm building it also on the logical coherence of the Islamic teaching. If you have another teaching for Islam that say another thing, I would like to hear it in context, according to what he studied. Throwing the idea of Christians and Islamophobia and is not right.
And do you have anything else to say about this?
Islamophobia is a very important point, actually, that I would like to say that the idea of Islamophobia in schools that he want to propaganda or I don't know, but he want to proclaim and to educate people about is really unreasonable in my opinion, because phobia is unreasonable fear. So you want to tell me that fear of Islam is unreasonable? But Muslims are nice. I'm not talking about Muslims. Don't put me in that bucket, please. And there is an important thing. If you are afraid of Islamophobia and you want to run after Islam, chase the love of Islamic teaching, I think you have a problem with the Swedish Christian Jewish values that we have in this society. Islamophilia is not the solution. This is very important. Islamophilia is not the solution. Falling in love with Islam, chasing their acceptance, and how we make them satisfied religiously is not the job of our society. Their job is to fit to the values of the society. I will not change the whole society values to fit to a group of people. And actually, first of all, they don't do that in their countries. Secondly, this is against democracy. Thirdly, their values are totally the opposite from our values. So I don't know why we should change from the good to the wrong values, in my opinion, at least. And who is against the verses I said in the Quran, he may say out, speak out. Islamophilia, very important word of today's meeting, okay? Islamophilia.
Thank you so much, Tomas Samuel, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me today.